how would you define the value proposition for Hula?
Value proposition, for us, it's twofold. From a merchant perspective, it's an ability to do two critical things that they have a problem with. Number one is getting more customers, and number two, getting them to buy. It's fundamentally the number one problem that any retailer has. And if we can help that, and we can prove it, that we can help it, that's the core of any business, and any business opportunity is have a problem and having a solution to solve it.
Yeah.
From a consumer perspective, and this is really, I guess, the sort of value proposition then sort of starting to, sort of form. But for a consumer, it's typically the Gen Z and millennials of this stage. It's I want now, I want to buy now, I want to get now.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily have the funds to be able to to go and do that, or at least I have a perception of of cost around doing that. With Hula, effectively you can buy now and you can pay later, and you can afford that over a period of time at no cost. And so it's really a no-brainer value proposition for a merchant, and it's a no-brainer value proposition for a consumer. And the bit that we're really bringing into that is the ability to make it a three-way situation, where the partners that we work with, be it banks or design agencies or shopping carts or anyone that's related in our ecosystem, all of a sudden, the more people are buying, the more people are selling, the more customers they've got on either direction, and we are creating effectively something out of nothing. It's organic. You're creating a marketplace. We're creating a marketplace.
And everyone who's created a marketplace, as we know, has succeeded.
It's the network effect. And that's really where the I guess the sort of the learning around putting this together is.
Interesting.
Things in startups actually as well, when you again doing the sort of mentoring work, you could see there was 10, 15 startups, and you can see some people are just doing it because they want to be an entrepreneur, or some people really believe in what they're trying to achieve, and you can almost instantly see, you can start to sort of get a feeling for how important that is, I think.
And also that sometimes Dragon's Dens, they might ask you the question, how long have you toyed with this idea? And the ones who have toyed with the idea for 10 years, they realize, okay, this is a good idea, it hasn't gone away. Exactly. It still works, there's a need there.
I found, and I've had hundreds of these silly little ideas, but none of them are scalable. None of them are actually being worthwhile quitting and throwing caution to the wind, being brave and
scalable.
And
good point.
You have to have that inherent passion for what you're doing. Because if you don't, it's not going to be enough. If you haven't got that, you're not going to be able to go and be brave and be open and be optimistic and because it's almost, I can't be bothered to get there. It's too far a reach. To go, especially the bravery piece. That's probably the biggest bit. This is really key. This is where I think, from a risk perspective, there's almost no risk of sorts, because that you've got a faith in what you're doing, you've got a belief in what you're doing. You know you have to
research,
right? You know you have to be brave.
Due diligence.
You've done the smart stuff, and now it really comes down to attitude and your person. And really, that's the boat that helps you sort of sail. I think it's having all those attitude and belief in the right space, because that's what will get you from A to B. And if you don't, and you think, well, do you know what? At least
it was fun while we were sailing. We got a good suntan,
right? And you don't look back one day and go, oh, if only I'd. I wish I had.
A lot of people,
which is a motivator personally for me, at least. But I do think it takes a certain person there in the right to.
It requires risk,
because you've got three people. You've got people that are quite happy doing, and they tick the box, and they get whatever other sort of passions in life they have. You have those people that consistently talk about I wish, but don't necessarily they either have the addicted to the drug of money or a certain type of lifestyle. And
that's true.
And I'd like to think that third group that can really throw that caution to the wind and really and take that risk.
the fifth book that I'm working on now is in relation to our relationship to money has changed in the last 40 years, and there's something about that doesn't work. But maybe what you're saying, it doesn't work for the two groups. The third group doesn't care about the money, and that's because they've got a healthy relationship with money.
Yeah. But I think it takes...
Surprisingly, if you do that, you'll make more money because you're going to do what you love what you do, you get recognized for it, and you make more money.
Right. My whole journey in the last 2 years has been quite extreme. From the sacrifice and the having no money, and definitely having no money coming in, and going through some of the other personal stuff that I sort of mentioned at the same time. But I mean, I lived here. I was in a beautiful condo in Sentosa, which you might know. We had a car and helper and all the other sort of trappings that you have. But that question of happiness. I wish. I enjoy working 7 days a week and being alert and being inspired and being open and being brave and
key, right?
Being optimistic and being alert and talking, because actually waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning and having these problems is actually better than not.
Than the downside, the boring stuff. And while we're recording, then one thing that you've learned that you wish you had have known when you started out.
Blimey.
What would that be? As a leader, in terms of CEOs,
from
something that you now know with your experience that you wish you had have started out knowing. What would that be?
I think in terms of starting up in a business, the first thing that immediately comes to mind is it's actually not that difficult, really. And being brave is actually not that difficult. I think some people have this idea in their mind that it's just too difficult to go and do and to go and sort of manage. But if you really have that belief and a belief, as we sort of alluded to, it's actually not that hard. You just need to go and plan properly and believe and do all the things that come naturally, bringing things together and building something. And
the first step was the hardest.
And that's absolutely right.
Do it.
I mean, I'm 43 now. It's not old, it's not young, but I've always wanted to do this. But perhaps I've waited for something that really I was so passionate about. But it would have been interesting if I tried that earlier. But would I've been in the right position? I don't know. But there's all these other questions that come up. But
market readiness and everything else.
And there's all that sort of stuff. All that. Have a look at a very simple business here. The ride hailing, right? With Grab and even Uber at the beginning, right? The fundamental shift in quality of service because of effectively, a rating type service of what you find. I would much prefer to go and use a Gojek or a Grab over and above a normal taxi, because these guys are motivated now to go and build their own life and business. They're not just doing it for a 9-to-5 job. So there's massive disruption in that sort of space.
Massive. On my last trip here, I had to go to Google. My taxi said, "Do you know where it is?" I said, "No, just Google it." Google. And he said, "I can't." And I said, "Well, call dispatch." And dispatch said they can't. So I said,
"That's crazy."
It's crazy. He asked me to do it. I'm roaming. I don't want to do it. So I switched to Grab, never went back.
So you go into one of these cars. They give you a bottle of water sometimes. This guy yesterday, he'd gone to the wrong place. He was terribly apologetic. He said, "Right, it's going to be 6 kilometres. It's going to take us about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to get you there as quickly as possible. Here's some water for you. How's the air conditioning? Would you like, would you like this? Is the music okay?" Can you imagine getting into a taxi and getting that kind of service? Right, and then they complain about that being the case.
They don't want it to change.
Right,
they complain about their license fees and all that. Well, the world's changed. I want to thank you.
No, it's my pleasure. It's lovely to meet you. Thank you very much.